Hey everybody, how you doing? Hey, so if you're watching this, it's because you have watched CNN special on Twitter, the Bluebird. And I I like it sort of, but it follows the common CNN pattern of matching, in the sense a tech organization, to key events in history, like for example the Arab Spring. It doesn't get into how Twitter actually started or the launch party. So when I watched it, I thought, hey, maybe I'll see myself at the Twitter launch party. Maybe I'll have some video from that, and I'll say, "Oh yeah, here I am," or "Here's Robert Scoble over there, or Michael Bean or Florio over there," right? And you would say, wait a minute, Zinni, how did you wind up at the Twitter launch party?" And the simple explanation is that Michael Bean of Florio Business Simulations, who my sports business simulations company had a strategic relationship with, were using his technology, the Fourier macro language, told me about it. It was at Mighty San Francisco. It was 2006, and it was an exciting time. People were working on a lot of interesting 1.0 and emerging now called Web 2.0 platforms and approaches. And it was also the advent of vlogging. That's how I met uh, a number of vloggers. But I got invited. Was on Twitter. Before Twitter, there was a platform called Pounce, coded by Leah Culver, and Pounce, Leah Culver, and I believe it's Kevin Lindstrom. And Pounce uh, was Twitter before Twitter. The trouble is that Twitter overtook Pounce for a lot of reasons I want to go into for this. So anyway, um, I go back that far with Twitter and the emerging social, we used to call it new media, and now social media environment, right? And so eventually I'm on SFGate. I'm already a Oakland's first blogger. I started Oakland's first blog, and I was one of 120 people invited to the 2008 historic 2008 Democratic National Convention, where Barack Obama became the first black Democratic nominee. And so did all that, and so I one day noted that my friend Richard Lieberman was in this new section of online SFGate called City Brights, and they had no one black. And I said, "There's no one black." And Lieberman, who I went to high school with, junior high, says, "Well, you should contact John Diaz." So I did. John Diaz was then the editorial page editor, and he goes, "Well, why don't you join?" And that's how I got on. I remember taking him to dinner to say thanks, and he says, I can't pay you." I said, "I understand that, but do you mind if I put this YouTube code up, right?" Made a lot of money off that, up to $3,000 a month because of that. So anyway, I'm going through all this, and I became obsessed with, among other things, mating Twitter with YouTube, and really Twitter itself. So all that leads to a article I saw on a Wall Street Journal. I was already familiar with a woman by the name of Kara Swisher. She wrote that Twitter was inane and simple. Those were her words in the headline, not mine. So in rebuttal, I made this vlog that you're about to see right here. This is what I made, and this is what I said. Yeah, halfway. Nice. And so after that, we had another exchange involving, first of all, my video there, and it's on Twitter as it was designed then. And in fact, well, basically, I should show you what she did because it'll make more sense um, in the context of this vlog, right? Might as well show and tell, right? Um, and right here was, I call it, an outlandishly immoral response. Um, so I'm not gonna dig into it. I'll just tell you what happened. So anyway, we had this exchange, and again, and I think you saw it in the first video there. I really started to dig into what was going on in her mind as much as I was interested in such a thing, really. And then the bottom line is, then, as you heard, I said, I don't know why she's taken that position. In other words, why she got so triggered. But I think that there's some people who cannot stand someone black. And I think that was more so true then than today, uh, who is in tech media or involved in tech. They subconsciously think the person either has to be white or Asian. There was a lot of behavior that implied that then, okay? Too much. And it led to a lot of, well, the complaints you hear from African Americans who go into the tech space in Silicon Valley, back then, more or less so than today, because of the way our society has evolved. Kara was, in a bad way, reflecting that attitude, which I can't stand from someone who doesn't know how to code. All right. So Kara, again, contacts Kevin Skaggs, who is executive director of SFGate, and tries to get me off of it and tries to get my post removed and my place in sfgate.com removed, simply because I said that she said that Twitter was basically inane and half baked. And yet, as you saw, the title of what she wrote said precisely that. Okay. Now, I don't know if maybe she didn't realize the editor put that there or whatever was going on in her mind, or she just didn't want to be called out. I think she just didn't want to be called out by me because that's how because of the way she came across. All right. It was really outsized anger. And so because of the fact that she tried to get me removed from SFGate City Brights, I went from respect to zero respect. And so now I see her today on CNN, and I'm thinking, what's she adding? What value? And who had the idea of bringing Kara Swisher on? You're better off bringing on somebody like Sarah Lacey, right? But Kara, I mean, give me a break. I'm not seeing it. And if you go around, if you type Kara Swisher Twitter in Twitter, and you'll see comment after comment after comment after comment about how Kara is a person who can have a mean response and have this haughty kind of "I'm tech and you're not" attitude, but in point of fact hasn't done anything tech. She just cozies up to people in tech to get stories. Now, Sarah Lacey does a much better job of that. Sarah Lacey is not insufferable. She's a wonderful person. And Sarah Lacey is almost everything Kara Swisher is not. And I mean all that to the good. So I don't know who produced the show or why Kara wound up being on it, but I think it's something that makes me not want to watch it much and turn the channel for my own personal reasons. Uh, I think if you're going to be a person involved in tech, you shouldn't give off this, and you're going to do tech media, tech journalism. I'm not a journalist, I'm a blogger or blogger. Don't act like you are holier than thou with other people. All right. It's not necessary. That behavior was once the flavor back then, but it didn't do anybody any good at all. It created a lot of more damage than outcomes, good outcomes. In fact, I can't think of a single good outcome that came from that behavior at all. So Kara's a reminder of that time, that negative time when folks who look like me were not sought after, or if you were at a tech party like me or a TechCrunch Disruptor, although I have to say with Michael Arrington's events, I had a great time. I didn't feel like I didn't belong. In fact, I've never felt like I didn't belong at TechCrunch Disrupt or the Crunchies or anything. Quite the opposite. Loved it. But there are some of us who have experienced those feelings. It can be an intimidating environment if you let it. But if you have a person like Kara Swisher in the mix, it can be even more so, unless, of course, you know how to basically just tell her to fluff off. All right, subscribe to Zenny62 and bookmark zenny report.com. We'll see you.